The Toronto Maple Leafs aren't done yet, with major reports coming out saying there are extensions coming very soon, and these are going to play major implications into the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs, especially against the cap. And I'm going to break it all down for you guys coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 71% of you guys watching our videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening around the league heading into this season, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. But with that said, let's jump right into the first topic of the video today, which is McCabe extension coming. And yes, this is something we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where he's one of those guys that we will see extended. At least I think so, because he's one of the better, second, third pairing defensemen that they have, and they can get him back at a fairly low deal. And we did get an update on the Jake McCabe extension from Luke Fox on Twitter, where he went on to say here that McCabe has been mentioned that he and the Leafs have begun discussing contract extensions. Both sides are keen on reaching an agreement, and McCabe is open to negotiating during the season. He emphasized how much he enjoys being a part of the organization and the team values he contributes on the ice. And this is a great thing to hear here, because obviously hearing that both sides are keen on getting a deal done is great news, because that means they're going to get the contract done. If both sides want this deal to happen, it is going to come into fruition. It's just landing on that number, landing on the years of how long they want to keep Jake McCabe around. Like I discussed before, I think we will see McCabe come in between the numbers of $4 to $5 million. That's where I would put him at. Maybe he reaches that 5.5 mark, but this is where I'm thinking, because the price of defensemen are going up and up every year. Now with the salary cap rising, it's just going to keep going up. So if you can lock McCabe up for 5 years, around $5 million, around that upper or lower ballpark there, I think that would be a great deal for them, because obviously this guy's been a great defenseman for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's been a great defensive guy. He's great at holding his own in his own zone. He's great at bringing that intensity and just pumping up the team by laying these hits, by blocking these shots. And like I keep saying, is you need a Jake McCabe type defenseman on your team to win a championship, because these are the guys who, you look at the stat sheet and you're like, he only got like 10 points or whatever, but it's the stuff he does, like in the nitty gritty side, the hard nosed, like snot grinder type of things, like Brad Schulving would say. The stuff that he does that isn't necessarily jumping out at you on the stat sheet, like hits and blocks and just winning those board battles, is what he excels at. And I think getting him in is definitely a great option for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And yes, I know they have a lot of people coming up, like Mitch Marner, like John Tavares, and McCabe, and many more names, one that we're going to talk about later on in this video, but he is a guy that you want to sign. You want to get McCabe back in here, because he is such a good defenseman, and if you let him go, you're not going to get the same caliber of defenseman in Jake McCabe back, in my opinion. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the McCabe extension down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the second topic of the video today, which is Tanev speaks on new D partner. And yes, we got some quotes here from Chris Tanev talking about how him and Riley are doing, working in training camp together. And this is what he had to say here. Obviously, he says the team's goals, the camp focus is on zone coverage, and the goal is to stay as aggressive as possible. Obviously, Brad Schulving has built this D-core to be as an aggressive as possible D-core. Obviously, you got Benoit, McCabe, like we just talked about, Tanev now, and Hakanpää as the 7th D. I mean, these guys are going to be laying people out and blocking shots. There's no doubt about it. So it makes sense for them to be an aggressive D-core, because that's the type of players they built around here. But he also noted that he thinks him and Morgan Riley's games gel well together, and that is great to hear. And I've seen some comments on this post saying, oh, is his back going to hurt from carrying Morgan Riley, stuff like this. I know you guys are going to say that down below. I think Morgan Riley's a great defenseman. I think their games are going to mesh very well together. I think having that more Morgan Riley that's going to lean a bit more offensive this year, and that Tanev who's just going to hold his own in his zone, fire up the guys with some hits, with some blocks. I think this is going to work out very well for their first deep pairing here in Toronto. And yes, it might not look amazing off the bat. I mean, this is their first time playing with each other, their first time getting to know each other now in training camp. So once they get that chemistry, once they build up that trust, I think this is going to be an amazing deep pairing, and I'm very excited to see this one start to go. And just hearing already that he thinks that they're going to gel pretty well together is great news, and I'm really excited to see these guys start working together in the regular season. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. I know a lot of you guys are hyped for Chris Tanev this season. Let me know down below your thoughts, and we're going to get into the main topic of the video today, which is Matthew Knies' monster extension inbound. And yes, this is something that I think has been overlooked by the Mitch Marner extension, is the Matthew Knies extension that we need to see, because obviously this guy is the best, I would say the highest ceiling prospect they have right now, who is playing in the NHL. I know Easton Cowan might be a little bit over him, but I do think Matthew Knies is that guy right now who is, going to be the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you need the money to sign this guy to a big deal. And we did get an update here today where David Alter asked him, he's in his final year of his ELC, entry-level contract. Has he had any talks with the Toronto Maple Leafs so far on an extension? He said, I don't really want to get into that. I want to stay there. I know a lot of guys want to stay here. It's pretty awesome to play here, and he says, I think I'm just going to leave that out of my hands and work on getting better and contributing. And yes, this is great that, he's not too concerned about it and is certain that there is going to be a deal done, because the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't going to leave a guy like Matthew Knies, out to on the trade block as an RFA. That's not going to happen, because he's just so good and he meshes so well with their top star there in Austin Matthews up on that top line. So this guy is going to get paid, and I know a lot of people say they probably don't have the money to do this. We need him to sign an 8-year deal, and when I look at this, I kind of see a Uri Slafkovsky contract, because Uri Slafkovsky and Matthew Knies, I would say, are around the same type of player. They're around the same type of play style. Yes, Slafkovsky had more points than Matthew Knies last season, but I do think these are the same. This is the ballpark we're looking at here. Both around the same age, both around the same type of play style, I would say. And Uri Slafkovsky just signed an 8-year, $7.6 million deal. So when I look at Matthew Knies, I would put him around this number as well. I would say 8 years, probably 7. I think you could get him in at 7. You might even be able to get him in at cheaper, but I think you need to take the shot on a long-term deal with Matthew Knies rather than signing him to a bridge deal and then not having enough money for him to just walk in free agency. You need to lock this guy up long-term, because he is the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he has a very high ceiling. He's just getting better and better every season, and I really think you need to lock this guy up long-term. 100%. I think this guy's going to have a breakout year this year. He just seems to be getting better and better, working on his game every offseason and getting better. So, he's getting into the prime of his career. Locking him up for 8 years isn't going to hurt you, and getting him in at I would say a friendlier deal at $7 million. Yes, it is still a lot of money, but it is going to be a good contract as the years go on and he gets better and better. It's the 8 years prime of Matthew Knies' career, and I think 7 years isn't a bad deal at all. But we did also get another quote from Matthew Knies here, where he said his views about playing on the top line. He says it's a privilege alongside Matthews and Marner, saying, I'm going to work my tail off to stay up there and support them. So obviously he has that determination, he has that drive to be a better player, to be helping these guys out, the star players in a Mitch Marner, in an Austin Matthews. And this is the perfect guy to have on a line with these players. Obviously, you have the skillful Mitch Marner who can pass, he can deke, and you have the Austin Matthews, who's the best goal scorer in the NHL. And then you have Matthew Knies, a guy who isn't afraid to park his body in front of the net, try to go for a tip. He isn't afraid to go into the board battles, win those battles in the O-zone, and get the puck out to the front of the net to a Mitch Marner or an Austin Matthews. And this is why I think this contract needs to happen. It's going to happen soon, and I can't wait to see what he gets. I would put him around that $6.5 to $7 million range over 8 years, but it could be more. I can't see him getting more than Uri Slafkovsky. I just can't see it. So I think this is around the number we're going to be looking at. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What number are you putting Matthew Knies at here over 8 years? Let me know down below in the comment section. We're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Martin. Martin says, I hope Robertson shines. I hope the Leafs turn it on goalies. Shout out to you, Martin. Really appreciate your comment. We see you down below all the time. Showing your support here on the channel means a lot to us, and I hope Robertson shines too. I'm really hoping this guy has a great year and just proves that he's a great goal scorer in this league. I'm really looking forward to see how he plays, and if he makes this opening night roster, I would love to see that happen. I appreciate you, Martin, for leaving a comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road for 5,000 before the season starts, so if you want to keep up to date, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, and comment on the video. You might feature on the next comment of the day, just like our buddy Martin was today. And if you want to check out a video I did just the other day, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.